Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today for our Small Business Development Workshop, Social Media Content Strategy. The Chamber is very grateful to provide this offering free of charge to our Chamber members because of the generosity of our sponsor, Lake Superior College. They've been instrumental in allowing us to continue to bring these sessions to our members to help grow your business. And they've also committed to 2023 sponsorship as well. So for that, we are very happy. But without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today, Molly Solberg. Molly has over 20 years of experience in marketing, PR sales, social media, digital marketing. She operates her own marketing company, MAS Marketing, and is the founder of the Social Media Breakfast Twin Ports Group. So I recognize a few names here for attending those. Thank you for being here. And in addition to that, Molly's presented for our chamber on many occasions and served on our board at one time. So I am especially honored to have you here with us. So Molly, at this time, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here and go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I've been a longtime chamber member. So as soon as, was on the board. And then when I started my own company, the first thing I did was write out my check and join the membership. Although I didn't have a ribbon cutting in my home office. I thought, it's low ceilings with David Ross coming in. So that's fine. So today we are going to talk about social media content strategy, and we are going to have a fabulous hour together, and you are going to get so much out of it if you put in the work. I feel like I'm some sort of personal coach or some sort of, like you're at the gym. You're at the gym and it's going to be a mind workout. So I think Chris mentioned that we should have some scratch paper handy so that we can start writing down content. So you've got items that you're going to take away and you're going to implement for your businesses today. So we're not doing fluff, we're doing full on stuff. So when we're talking about social media, you have to have the obligatory social media platform slide. And I was really excited to find this one that had that, the TikTok and the Snapchat marketing in there. As Chris mentioned, I do run the Social Media Breakfast Twin Ports group on Facebook. In its 12th year, 1,000 members. So I know a lot of you are members on here. But if you're not a member, I encourage you to join. Just join the group over at Social Media Breakfast Twin Ports, and then you can find out about some of the latest. And the reason I'm saying that is because we just had TikTok marketing that we talked about last month and a couple of you were there that are here today. We talked about TikTok marketing and it was at Hoops. So looking at beer and talking about TikTok marketing is a pretty good thing. And it's been really interesting to see all the local companies that are on TikTok now. So very exciting stuff. And then I mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great, and I have the sheet of the companies that you all work for here. And a lot of you are, business to business based or organizational based company. So LinkedIn is definitely something that you shouldn't forget about. When people are reaching out to me, I absolutely prefer that you reach out to me on LinkedIn. You don't really need to know the number of White Claws that I may or may not be drinking on any particular weekend on Facebook. So definitely check me out on LinkedIn. And Twitter, a lot of my clients aren't using that lately. Instagram is obviously more prevalent as Instagram and Facebook are tied together. But I'd like to point out the number 2 spot, which is YouTube. And a lot of my clients are surprised to learn that YouTube is considered the second largest social media platform. It is also considered the second largest search engine after Google, before Bing, before Yahoo, before DuckDuckGo. YouTube, and more people are using, obviously video for awareness and for search. So we're going to talk about, you can't talk about social media content without talking about video. So make sure that you at least set up a YouTube channel that has all of your business information and keywords in it, because what you are doing is you're creating another billboard on the internet highway, and it is the second largest billboard So I highly encourage you to do that. So there we go. Social media channels, that's the slide. So we are going to do something really fun and wake up our mouses and our fingers on our pads. And I would like to do a poll. And as Chris pointed out, we are going to go to the bottom of your screen. There should be an annotate pencil. If you click on that annotate pencil, you can go ahead and click the text button if you want, or the draw button. And I would like to know 1, 2, or 3. So go to the annotate and go to the text or draw and put in here 1, 2, or 3. How many social media platforms does your business currently use? And I guess you could just, you know, if you write the word 4, then I'll know 4 or 5. That's how many you have. So we have
You
Chris
can
right away.
also find the annotate. Mine is on the top bar under view options. There's a drop down. So click view options, annotate. That's where it is on my computer.
Perfect. All right, and I'm gonna, people are doing the cute little numbers. 1, somebody's 2. Wow, that is some, you know, it's like some of you had way too much coffee. But
It
I'm
really
thinking
looks beautiful.
it's very pretty. Oh, I see people are putting very smart check marks after it. Okay, so it sounds like most of you are in the 2 to 4 range. And if we're going back and looking at that past slide, between, you know, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, those are kind of the 3 popular ones. Hopefully some of you have the YouTube channel or TikTok. So good. All right. So we've learned a new skill if we didn't know it already, which was the fabulous little annotate button. Great. Oh, I should push clear. Oh, thank you very much. Okay. Now I got to get that off there. Okay. So content, social media content. That's what we're here to learn. And where do you start with all of that? And this is where we got to put in the hard work before we get to all the fun stuff. But where do we start? And the start is with having a goal. And that's the first thing I talk to my clients about. Well, I guess I'm supposed to be on Facebook. Well, why? I mean, you know, if you're just on Facebook to say like, hey, here's a pencil, I mean, that's not going to be anything that's valid. You need to have a strategy, hence the name of the presentation you are at today. So what is that marketing goal you want for the rest of 2022? We are coming up on a big holiday season here. So if any of you are in that retail space, that matters. So maybe you want to, you know, increase whatever in the last quarter of the year. A lot of you are B2B service orientated. So maybe it's you want to generate more high quality leads. You want more people to know who you are, to get them in the funnel, to figure that out. Maybe you have now launched a new and updated website and you would love to have increased traffic to the website. That website is your end all be all. It has all of your information that lives there 24/7. So I agree that number 4 is a great topic. Maybe you want to establish yourself as an authority. Maybe you have a blog. And industry authority could just be an industry authority within our region. So you want to be the best engineers in the area. You want to be the best school in the area. You want to be the best insurance company in the area, the best college in the area, the best hotel in the area. Yes, I have a little sheet of who you all are here. So that could be something you want to. So you have our little scratch paper here and I have mine. So, and all of us, even me as a sole proprietor, I have goals that I want to increase during the year. And maybe that for me is finding that balance. Maybe I've been busy lately. And so I want to make sure that I have that balance of giving my clients exactly the time and attention that they deserve, but then having some time for fun too, because fall is a fantastic time in the area. So maybe that's what mine is, but I want to take the time to I'm not going to make you turn on your webcams and show me your goal, but I want everything that we're going to be doing from here on in and learning that content is for one purpose, and that is to drive traffic or to complete your goal. So what is that goal? So everybody, I'm assuming I've got the thumbs up that you've thought about where you want, you're here for a reason, you're here today for a reason. So making sure that you, oh, and that's great. We have somebody that's annotating, acquire new customers. Fabulous, which is what a lot of us want to do. Okay, great. So whatever that goal is, we'll write it down and we have it right here in the back of our minds. And that is going to be driving what we're going to be learning today. So I know that we are here for social media, and I always tell my clients too that the first thing that they say, okay, you run the social media group, help me with social media. And I say, if you have a website, show me that. And they're like, well, I'm here to learn about social media. Social media is just one facet. That doesn't mean that you need to have a website. I know a lot of successful people that sell a lot by having a Facebook marketplace or having a shop on Facebook or Instagram and sell a ton through Instagram. So I'm not saying exclusively, but if you have a website, social media is there to drive traffic to your website. Not everybody has all of the social media platforms, but almost everybody now has the internet. That's why we're here. So I want to see your website. I want to see that it's mobile friendly. I want to see that it's easy to navigate through. So there's whole presentations that I give just on websites and search engine optimization and speed. And you've probably had some presentations through the chamber on that, but just make sure that that your website has been updated recently, because Google is always changing its algorithms. Yes, I'm going to be mentioning Google a lot because they own 90% of the global search engine market, and they're changing algorithms, and they want your website to be fast, and they want it to be able to load on mobile quickly. So even though you may be a service-based industry, there might be a lot of your clients or potential clients discovering you first through their mobile or through their tablet. So go ahead and make sure that your website is in order. So when you drive traffic website through social media, that it looks very visually appealing, that it takes up the whole screen and it's not just on the center, that the colors are muted. If you sell anything through your website, have a white background, because Walmart and Target and Amazon has already done the $1 million A/B testing, and they all have white backgrounds. I have a lot of clients who are like, but I like green. And it's like, oh, it's just so hard to see your products. So that's a little tip that I think we already know, but white backgrounds. So next, we are going to talk about who our customer is. And I've been to so many presentations where it's been like your target customer and all this, all these steps that they walk you through, and they don't really they don't really tell you how to get to this. They're just like, who's your customer? But as I start to see more, and as the Facebook algorithm just changed again, like last week, because I could tell everybody was like, what is going on in my feed? I'm just seeing all of this stuff that is not, a lot of it doesn't pertain to me. And I think there's some businesses I am getting a lot of, I think maybe it's like a dentist or chiropractor or something. It's in Chisholm, and it keeps showing me the ad, and I just feel bad that it's a local based business and they're spending $1 extra that they don't need to by advertising to a target market that isn't their target market. Duluth has enough spots around here, services, that we're probably not going to drive to Chisholm, although Chisholm is, very lovely and now the home of redhead mountain bike trails. Anyway, so who is your target customer? What are they interested in? How do they communicate? What are their activities? What platforms are they using? Answer some of these questions, because this matters. If I need to be on Facebook, but I've realized with some of my clients, the demographic is older. So then we need to do more advertising in the newspaper, because that's what their clients are looking at. Or it's a younger demographic, and you can post all of your content on Instagram, and have seen a lot of success that way. So think about who your customer is. And back in the day, we'd sit down and we'd come up with 50 questions that we'd have to answer to calculate out your perfect buyer persona. and it was a very arduous task. So I found it much easier to just take that customer that you have, that you love. They visit you all the time. They've left you a positive Google review. They've left you a good review on Facebook. They have told their friends and family about you and your services, or, you know, a great business that has been coming back to you year after year. If you can find more like that business, if you can find more like that, it doesn't mean that I'm leaving anybody out, but that just means that if I've got $1 to spend, I want to get right in front of that target. So rather than building a fake person, let's really think about that real person. So just think for a second on who you've interacted with, a client, a customer that has been just fantastic to work with, and think about, where are they communicating? Are they spending all their time communicating at a chamber function? Maybe you need to spend more time, plug in the chamber here, spend more time going to chamber events so you can find more clients like that one you found. Or maybe you had a great interaction with somebody at an association meeting that isn't anything to do with your business. When I was at Duluth Pack for 11 years, and I did a lot of outreach for the Ducks Unlimited meetings, because we sold some cases that were relevant to them. So I would just reach out to that association and ask if I could donate something or leave a catalog on the table. So really finding that valued customer that wanted American made, that wanted canvas. So if they bought one ammo bag, then they could come back and buy a briefcase, and because then now I have them as a target. So what are they interested in? How do they communicate? What are their activities? What platforms are they using? Again, find that ideal person and let's just talk to that person, because if we can talk to that person and get 5 more of them or 10 more of them, how fantastic is that going to be? Then you've built up this client base and customer base of people that are really going to be your brand ambassadors and will do the marketing for you by saying fabulous things about you. And I hate having a lot of words on things, but I just throw them in there a little bit. So I've got the pretty graphic to show it too, but create in-depth descriptions of who those ideal people are. Focus on what's most important to the customer and why they want to get involved with your business. What is very important to my customer. So much I talk about, like, I do digital marketing, I do this, I do that. That's not going to attract anybody. None of my potential clients are interested in or Googling the word per se digital marketing. They're like, are you, and I just help mostly small startups. So I'm like, are you in a dead-end job that you're not happy or fulfilled with? I can help you get started. I can give you the tools that you need to get started. So I'm talking directly to them. And it's really hard for businesses to step back and think about what the customer wants, but those are the most successful on social media at reaching their target customer, because they're answering problems for me that maybe I didn't even know that I had. So I find myself buying lots of things on Facebook by people that can identify and target me. And that could mean even people that sell like a little black dress that they make themselves. Well, maybe the problem is that now we are having weddings in person, and now we're having events in person, and now you need something new to wear. So everything that you do is solving a problem, whether people are hungry or they need a place to stay or they need an engineer or they need a place to send their kids, all of that. So talk directly to your customer. Do not forget that. The most effective way to gather the information about what it is a survey. And who just sent out a survey in our inboxes this week? The chamber. So I took the time to fill out the survey, and they really wanted to know, and I didn't even plan that, so good job on the chamber's part. They really wanted to know what matters to their members. Are they missing something? So they came up with a list of what they thought, and then they gave an opportunity for us to add more content to that. And feel free to ask questions in the chat. We have some chamber folks monitoring that, and we can jump in at any time and answer your questions. And then really think about, we are here to talk about social media content strategy, but it has to be a strategy that encompasses more than just social media, because and here is the obligatory demographic again, that it takes folks a lot of times of being in front of somebody. And maybe I'll use the example, and I have an example of Duluth Best Bread, because they are going to be our next location for social media breakfast in October. So it takes me it took me like a year of seeing their content for their old location before I actually like resonated, like, oh, now I actually have company coming and I want to get some, bread and caramel rolls for them. That's where I'm going to go. So it took a long time for me to see that content before I became a customer. So you have to spend a lot of time with awareness and consideration before you acquire them. And then you want them to have a great experience with you. You want to keep in contact with those customers you already have. So half the time you're speaking to those, perfect, buyer personas or your perfect target market. And then the other part is talking to those your brand evangelists to try to get them to become, it's obviously cheaper to get a customer into a customer than it is to get a new one in the door. So don't forget about those folks. And we're going to talk about that piece of it. So another thing we're going to talk about is the biggest thing that I see with my clients is the commitment to social media. It's like, you have to do it. You've been to 7 presentations on social media. Now sit down and do it, because you're not. And another presentation isn't going to help you, although this one will. So commit to doing it. And it is so easy, because all we have to do on our we've created our Facebook page. You've created an Instagram. You might have to Google how to tie the two together if you haven't done that. But it makes it so much easier when you do. So make sure that you, if you have not done that, make sure that you have a Facebook and Instagram that are tied together. And I have clients that don't spend a lot of time on Instagram, or a lot of Instagram clients that don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. You tie the two together, you post once, and it goes to both platforms. So you don't need to worry about it. But just commit to sitting down once a month, once a week, twice a month, and go to your Facebook business page, hit this little publishing tools. I've highlighted it right here. When you go to the next publishing tools, it takes you here, create post, click the Instagram box because they're tied together. Obviously, if it's on Instagram, it has to have a photo. So make sure that you have a photo, type it. And then I have to move our screens here, but then there is, after you create the post, there's this publish button, and maybe, I'm not sure if you can, might have to move your screens around, but there's a blue publish button, but right next to that, there's a little blue square with a little white triangle in it. You just hit that triangle and it lets you schedule it. And you can schedule this post. When I created this, and maybe I created this slide last week, I could go out to November 23rd. So I could go, I think it's like 90 days. So you can go at 9. So there's no excuse for not doing this. We're going to come up with a bunch of topic ideas today. So we're going to go in and we're going to schedule it. So if we get busy, we know that these are sitting out. So here we go. So we're going to go to publishing tools on Facebook. Then we're going to go to create post. We're going to put our photo in. We are going to schedule the post. And then we are going to go back and repeat. So commit, commit, commit. No excuses now. And then voice. And if you ask, what are the social media trends? This is it. They want you to be authentic. They want you to show passion. They want you to show your real identity and your personality. And if you work for a larger company, then you need to come up as a team to figure out what is your identity and what is your persona. And I know when I was at Duluth Pack and there'd be a team of 4 of us, we all came up together of what kind of a voice that was going to be. If we were going to talk like a 40-year-old lumberjack and use lots of oofdas as a Minnesota company, then collectively that's what we were going to do. We weren't going to use all caps. We weren't going to use exclamation points. We weren't going to ask people questions, or we weren't going to tell them like, this is great. Isn't this great? Don't you think this is great? We were going to let them make that decision. So be authentic, show passion. And I think that we all know the local businesses that are just killing it at this. They're just being authentic. And sometimes they're just being so authentic that we forget the product or the service that they're selling because we just know them. So make sure that, authenticity is huge. because we all know what social media and the dark hole it can sometimes be. So just make sure that you are being authentic. All right, any questions? All right, now we are at the fun part. We are at the topics, and we will be coming back to this too, but this is kind of the time where we talk about what we are here to do and talk about content. So I have a list of 5 things here. So you all have your scratch paper. And so come back here. So we are going to talk about what some of these topics are. And we live in a really amazing community that helps each other. I remember helping Ursa when they were opening, and they said, Ben Pata was just here. What does that mean? I said, it means that they're welcoming you to the neighborhood. Exactly what it means, because we all do better when we all do better. And now we all know how bustling Lincoln Park is because of those relationships. So now where maybe somebody didn't want to come down just to go to Bent Paddle, now they're going to come down because they know that they can go to Bent Paddle, and then they know that there's a food truck over at Ursa, and then they can stop at Wild States along the way, and Duluth Cider and our friends at Caddy Shack. So and OMC, I mean, obviously a million things to do. We all do better when we all do better. So what are those topic ideas? And I think that whole little paragraph that I was just talking about was to say, talk about events, talk about each other, talk about the neighbors. Your message, it gets so much louder when you all help each other repeat it and tag each other and share it. And I know the Lincoln Park community is great at that. I know when all of the shops opened up, 190 Coffee was talking about Ren Market. Ren Market was talking about North and Shore. North and Shore was talking about Lila Boutique. Lila Boutique was talking about cute little kid store that's in there. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Anyway, they all spread the same message of their joint open house. So that message was huge. So one topic idea could be talking about events going on, because if somebody is coming to an event in that area where your business is, then maybe they can stop and see you as well. And it builds that community spirit. Weather could be a topic too. Crazy as that is, everybody at Duluth Pack, anything about the weather did the best. What also did really good was reviews. So people don't like to like, well, I don't want to brag or anything. You're not bragging, you're just sharing content. And maybe somebody else like, oh, that's the exact same thing that I feel too about the business. So maybe one topic again is, events in the area or things going on in Duluth. Some could be weather related. Some could be event, like major things that are going on at the deck, or, talking about the Bulldogs win or whatever that might be. Another topic could be, if you have a list of services that you provide, I have a list of services I provide. So maybe one of my topics could be, social media. So I'll share a tip about that. One of my topics that I teach a lot on is search engine optimization for websites. So that can be a tip that I give. And then the next thing that I do is maybe like Google ads and digital ad campaigns. So then I'm going to rotate between, and then I do speaking. So I'm going to talk about speaking, and then I'm going to talk about, so you're going to rotate between those topics. So hopefully everybody has written down at least 3 topics. Again, those are service providers. So maybe if you sell things, talk about the different kinds of things that you sell. Talk about the benefits of the things that you sell. Obviously, if you're a boutique, you can talk about clothing, and then you could talk about accessories, and then you could talk about different events coming up, and talking about color trends. You could talk about anything and everything that your target market is interested in. And this is really fun to do. And I've had some clients try to stump me by saying, like, I write mystery novels. How can I have a list of 5 different topics? And I also take pictures of haunted houses. I'm like, okay, well, brilliant. You're going to talk about your books. You're going to talk about how to buy your books. You're going to talk about other books in that genre that you've loved. You are going to talk about haunted houses. You're going to talk about photos, where to buy your photos. You're going to talk about some really famous Amityville horror hauntings. So I just came up with a list, and then you're going to rotate between those. So everybody have your list, have your topic ideas, and we're going to rotate between those topics. So that's plenty to do. Another example is, and I'm going to use Duluth Pack again, which was, we talked, one of our keywords was like history. So we talked about the history of Duluth Pack, the history of portaging, the history of the Boundary Waters, the history of the West End, the history of that building. Then if we're talking about handcrafted, you could show, you know, sewing and leather and canvas and riveting and all those things. So we rotate between an adventure of all the different places the packs can go on. So I'm just hoping, I can't see you all. If we were all in a room, I'd be calling on you, and we'd be coming up a list. We'd all combine, come up with a list of topics. So if we get to the end of the presentation, we may go back and talk about this some more. But does anybody have any questions about that? I mean, I want you to come up with a big long list of you know, like a topic, and then underneath we're going to come up with content that falls underneath that topic. So like if we are talking about Duluth, we can talk about the changing of the seasons, the ships coming in, the tour, the cruises that are coming in. We can talk about events at the deck or bayfront, or we can talk about things that are going on with the city and the lake and the leaves and changing seasons and all that fun stuff.
Molly, do you want those in attendance to put their list or ideas in the chats, and that might spark some conversation, or at least share ideas?
Yeah, and especially if somebody has like, this is my business, you know, can you help me come up with another couple topic ideas?
And maybe while they're doing that, you can answer this question. Do you have a generic rule of thumb that you advise in social media posting or topics? How many should be salesy? How many should be about the weather? Do you have a generic rule of thumb for those?
Well, when you research it online, they'll tell you 80-20. They'll tell you 80% of your posts should be informational and 20% should be selling your products or services. So, but if you're creating 10 posts and only 2 of them have something, that just seems like it's not enough. And then, I mean, maybe if you are on Instagram and stories and you're doing daily stories, then maybe, but 8 to 2 seems pretty small. That's what the research says. So, I mean, you have to make a living. So I would say kind of 50-50 would be a good one. Yeah.
So we're putting our events and our business in the chat, you said? Or not events, sorry, the topics.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That is correct, Zach. Good question. And you've got 2 businesses you're dealing with, I know. So, yep. And the chamber has, I'm assuming this is the chamber because of how fabulous it is. Yep. Ribbon cuttings, event photos. I like that. So ribbon cuttings is 1, right? And then event
Yes.
photos.
Yep.
Yeah. List of services, new members. Yeah. And that history city info, I love that kind of stuff. Sports simulators, bar. Yeah. Oh, I like that. History of organization. Yes. Oh, UDAC. Yeah. I would love to. Yeah, I'm going to have to follow you because that would be great to learn all of that for sure. Yeah. And I love the list of, like the Caddyshack's topics, to just rotate between those. Because I think sometimes you were getting stuck on just one of those topics and kind of forgetting about the other ones.
So for the Caddyshack, would you recommend to have one on there, like maybe meeting like personalities? Or is that not something that should be part of the topic list?
Personalities?
Yeah, like meeting, like, you know, introducing like Steph or like different bartenders or stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So they get to know them by name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I get that for sure.
Okay,
that could be part of and that could be part of the bar too, in that section of it. Yep. Obviously live music is going to matter, but don't forget about your number 1 topic there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. And that's plenty of content. Yeah, this is good stuff. And then, you know, Nicole put the history of their organization, the history of UDEC. So then make a list of like 20 things that fall underneath what that history is. And it'd be really fun to, I, you know, with Duluth Pack went to the UMD library archives to just find all this old research on it. Project features, day in the life of an engineer, very cool. Underwater diving. What? Okay, we gotta all start following this because that would be super cool to see. Yeah. Yeah, the why, absolutely. Healthy tips, statistics rated to health and wellness. So that's almost like the one category. And then you have to talk about memberships and benefits of memberships and that you have like a pool and a sauna and all of those other. So you're talking about everything that you have. You're talking about the features and benefits. That's all great. Yep. Upcoming events, Hermantown community, review spotlights, daily products. Yes. And Tammy is, I'm trying to find your name on here. Oh yeah.
So I'm technically with both TCG Accounting and Mackenzie's Bar and Grill. So I did that for Mackenzie's just so that way, you know, I'm not talking about playing the football game at the accounting firm.
Right. Which you may or may not do. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And daily specials, and then talk more about that because you are daily specials and drink specials and show the food and show the burger being piled high and all that amazing stuff. Menacing Acres, our favorite spot. Seasonal weather photos, service and amenities, customer quotes, history of the property, all that sounds amazing. The secret tunnels with all the pictures on it. Little secret spots, that's what I want to know there. Yeah, all of that sounds amazing. And they just keep, so seasonal weather picks, you know what that means. And then services and activities offered, I can't even tell you how long that list is. And so you're just going to rotate between them. And some of it just could be like the day in the life. I mean, just how great it is to hang out in all of those areas that you have. I'm so proud of everybody making these amazing lists because now you're good to go. You can just, and now you know how to schedule these things. So you're going to rotate and schedule all of these things. Obviously, seasonal weather events, those are going to change. But I like you all to have post scheduled so you don't feel that pressure. But then if something happens, it's like, oh my gosh, there's like our friends at Great Lakes Gear Exchange, which yesterday turned to Duluth Gear Exchange. We talked about how they still had their opening, even though there was a fire on their block, which could have been pretty devastating for them, but they still went through and had their opening. So, okay. Ooh, countertop, very cool. Types of materials, job highlights, how-tos, love that. Fabrication highlights. And you know what else would be fantastic there is pictures of remodels and home house trends and like as granite, granite's not out, maybe certain kinds of it, but did you know that granite also comes in these styles? And this is the latest trend. Did you know you can match a granite countertop with gold, big, what are those things like drawer pulls and all that stuff? So trends, housing trends too. So then you're seen as, I'm going to continue to follow you, even though I don't need a countertop right now, because you have such great ideas. So rotate between those, add that on there. Love that. Oh my gosh, these are all, let's just do this all day. Nobody has anything else going on today, do they? We can get your lunch and hang out here. Okay, these are fantastic. And then I'm going to look at this one and then we're going to move on and then we can come back and do this. Multi-service engineering firm, simple fair post. I want to demonstrate that we are experts and thought leaders. But some of these posts end up taking days to get signed off on. Okay, we need to have a little meeting with the team that has to sign off on it and come up with this is our goal. This is our target market. This is our voice. So if you're always using that same voice and tone, then you should have, free range to create content that falls within those topics, voice guidelines. Another thing that you can do is go and schedule these posts, and then whoever has to sign off on it, they can log in, see everything that's scheduled to go once a month and then sign off on it at that month, and then they're just scheduled to go out. So that's what you need to do. Yeah, absolutely. But Jessica's killing it, people. Let her do her job. Does that help? Okay. All right, so we'll take a little break from that and we will just go through a couple more slides here, and then we can always come back to this, but topics. Okay. And then this was like a really bad idea to start following United Noodles. We had an exchange student. My son went to Marshall. I see Marshall's here. So we had an exchange student from China living with us. So we spent a lot of time down at United Noodles, and they do a fantastic job of highlighting their products. They'll share a recipe, and then they'll go in and share something about the Asian community, which was, I mean, everybody loves Squid Game, and they won an Emmy. So they are switching their content between a product they have, a recipe, a special they have going on, and then content that's relevant to their target market. Who else is doing it? Oh, Duluth's Best Bread. Research is everything. What new flavors should we offer? All of a sudden, this thing blew up. They had 100. This was 2 days ago. They had 100 people like it. They've got a bunch of Almanac Coffee said cardamom and pistachio. So ask a question. This was brilliant on their part. And tonight, as I'm sure we're all going to, Whiskey Wednesdays at Glensheen. So they're creating an event, which we're going to talk about, but then they're also creating a post about the event. So they're adding all this more content around one event. A lot of people create an event and then call it good. But this is a great way to extend that content and make a post about it as well. And then here is some target market things. Just how brilliant Facebook is with their algorithms. They know I'm in marketing and search for marketing. Now businesses of all sizes can advertise on Hulu. This made me click on it and realize like that was smart. It was a problem. I deal with small business marketing, and it's giving me a solution to a problem. All businesses of all sizes. So I bet it uses some of their programming to put local, local people can do ads. And then Creator Studio, we're going to be talking about video. So making video is hard. We fixed it. And this is the cutest little thing. And it's a lumberjack. So Creator Studio. So brilliant job on marketing their target market to these two companies. Just because it's written down your to-do list doesn't mean it's useful. Somebody knew that I was doing a marketing presentation, and this popped into my feed, and I thought, oh, brilliant. And another tip I'm going to tell you too, if you're going to put any sort of post or any sort of blogging, put a number in it. Much higher click-through rates. 15 secrets for making a to-do list. If this would have just said make a to-do list, I wouldn't have clicked on it. 15 secrets to making a to-do list that actually works for marketing. Yes, please. And this is another trend. We're going to throw in a trend. Listen more. Use social media to interact with your customers or potential clients. The interaction and engagement will allow the customer to provide their views or issues on your brand. So besides sending out the chamber survey, they can post something on there too and asking for people's input. If people didn't want to take the time to fill out a survey or thought it would take too long, they can get some input there. So make sure that you listen more. So I bet Duluth's Best Bread, if they read all of our suggestions, will take one of them. And then we feel like we have an input, and then we feel like they picked our flavor, and then we got to go get our flavor, and then we got to tell everybody else it's our flavor, and all of a sudden they're selling, and then we get in there and then we see their new space and we buy more. So listen more. And then this is my tip. We are talking about social media content strategy, which means creating content. And you're creating content, it doesn't have to be social media. We just saw Jessica talking in the chat about how she struggles with creating all of this content. So you don't just have to use it for social media. You can use that content for email marketing. And I can't stress enough the benefits that my clients, small and large, see from email marketing. So again, this breaks my rule of having a lot of content, a lot of text on the side, which is a big no-no, but I want to make this clear to people. Even with the rise of social media, email marketing is still a powerful tool. According to HubSpot, 64% of small businesses use email marketing campaigns. Email marketing generates $42 for every $1. 42. That is a 4,200% return on investment. There's 4 billion daily email users, and studies have cited that 99% of those check their emails daily. And we don't, I mean, does anybody here have $1 million marketing budget? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, you know who does? Are the people that are sending emails in our inboxes. And my clients are like, well, I don't want to scam people, or I don't want to be annoying. And it's like, okay, I get emails from at least 5 companies every day, and I don't unsubscribe, because on that 29th day, that email is relevant to me, and I click on it and I go to the website and get their service or get their product. So, and my emails don't, this makes me just, when I see people's inbox, oh, it drives me crazy. If I have one, I immediately look at it, which I probably shouldn't do. I should probably check it a couple times a day, but do not forget email marketing. The clients that I have that have email marketing, we look at their analytics on their website, and it's huge spikes in traffic every time they send out an email. So a lot of clients are like, if I didn't send out an email, nobody would come back and visit my website. So make sure that you add email. And I have companies that are teeny tiny, and they're starting to collect email addresses now, and they have 50, and they send it out when they have a workshop going on, and half the people sign up for it. So it's an extremely valuable tool. So ratings by marketers on the effectiveness of digital marketing channels. Email marketing is the top of the list. So there we go. Done. Boom. Mic drop. There's your tip. You have to do some email marketing today. And I just looked at my inbox today, and what did I just get? SodaStream. I get my refills from them. Do I need this right now? No, but I clicked on it because it said something about the best sparkle for the fall. Well, I wanted to know what the best sparkle was for fall. I thought it was gonna be all these fall flavors, you know, like, although pumpkin spice flavor in my water probably wouldn't be ideal, but I wanted to click and see. So they've said 20% off, build your own flavor pack. And then, so they kept it simple and on brand, same coloring and just real simple. Here's 20% off, and then enjoy the perfect experience, and then follow us on social media channels. So there it is, just really simple, really easy. And I did, the last thing I purchased, maybe I shouldn't admit this, but okay, but I already admitted about the White Claws. So the last thing I purchased was, there's a product that must have gotten everybody that likes SodaStream and is over the age of 21, or that figures the target demographic for liking White Claws. But now they make flavor things for my SodaStream that are hard seltzers. So that I have all these little flavor syrups now that you can pour in and make hard seltzers. So brilliant on their part. They did some target marketing and it worked. I see there's some.
Yeah, Molly, there's a question here. I think we should
Okay.
start with Haley's because that's specific to email marketing.
Okay.
She's asking, how do you suggest we start creating an email marketing campaign for a service company?
Okay, and that would be probably through, I mean, a lot of websites have an email marketing add-on where they just sign up and it goes into the email campaign, and they can do it that way. I have found that MailChimp works fantastic, or if you have Constant Contact will build when you buy their service. MailChimp is free, some of the other ones are free. Constant Contact, if you buy it, they'll build you the template for it. So build you this whole pretty little template for it. But I would start immediately with the customers that you have. I would, every offline event that you go to, have a sign up sheet. On social media, say sign up for our email newsletter and get to know the latest on our projects or the latest tip, or, you know, that has to be a benefit to them for signing up. They get to find out about, like I said, new projects, new tips, research service. If you've got, if you're slower some time of the year, they get 10% off a service. You're going to send it to your email people first, because we know that there's $42 to every $1 that you spend on them. So we know that there's benefits. So tell them that there's benefits for signing up. I mean, like Zach was saying with the Caddyshack, there's so much going on. If there was an email newsletter, I could just click on that email and I can see everything that's going on with the simulators, with the bar, with the events, with the concerts. I could get all of that in one spot. All right. And then events. And I think we talked about that as a topic idea is events. So events are fantastic because they are seen by almost everybody in your social media that likes you. Whereas if you post content, it might only be seen by 5 to 10% of your followers. And if they say, what's the best time? I say it's not really based on time anymore. It is when that post starts getting some traction, it'll start to be seen by more and more people. So that is of value. So just make sure that it's, you know, interesting and engaging content, and then it will be seen by more and more people. But events are fantastic. We just saw the Whiskey Wednesday. So I know that Glen Sheen has created an event here on the event calendar through Facebook. The event is there. But then sometimes if I'm like, what does it start? And I go to Facebook and I go to Glen Sheen's Facebook page, it's buried within other contents of all the other posts that they've created. But now they've created a post that was just that event, and maybe they pin it to the top of the page, but be careful. A lot of clients leave pinned up there, so don't just do it for the link of the event. But I think more and more people are scrolling through these events. We're in town this weekend, so this is always the first thing that I do is I go to my location and then I change it to weekend, and then I find everything that's going on. Lots of Oktoberfest, lots of haunted ships. They're already advertising now for the Winter Village, so I can say that I'm interested in, or the holiday parade. So do not forget. And you know, obviously all these people, you know, bars and restaurants have events, but you could have an event for a, you know, anniversary or a ribbon cutting or an event that you're going to be exhibiting at a booth at a trade show. So that could be an event. So if it's relevant, make sure that you create an event. And then you are not going to escape content strategy without creating videos. And as you'll see here on Instagram, that's what people are doing now, is viewing my stories. When's Chris going to chime in here? That we are friends and you created content.
There we are.
But I didn't put what your thing was, but just to show you an example of yeah. So the pandemic changed how we viewed Instagram. So rather than going through and scrolling through all of the stories, more people are just going to the top and viewing the stories this way, or going through the feed. They're viewing it this way. So, you know, I can see, so I get up in the morning, I look at this, I click on the deck, and which takes me to the Duluth Gear Exchange, which takes me to Shop Ivy Moon, which takes me to Swim Creative, which takes me to Wild State, which takes me to Chris, which takes me back to another business. So I scroll through those for a while, they just keep playing, and then I go back and look at Facebook, or I go and look at Reddit, or I go and look at news. So this has to be a part of your content strategy, is creating these stories. And I have clients that are worried they're going to disappear in 24 hours. They won't. Once you create them, go into it. There's little 3 dots and you can save it as a highlight, and you can get people to come and view all of your highlights that you have saved on your page. So don't worry that it's going to disappear, but it's creating a little ad right at the top. I can't even tell you how many. I will create a Facebook post personally, and then I'll create a story, which will go on Instagram. And the amount of people that view if I create a post on Instagram, 20 people like it. If I post a story up there, I have over 150. So it's just crazy the amount of people are seeing that content and interacting with it. And then the same with over on Facebook, they're starting to too. And we know how popular it is, because while Facebook will not give away its algorithms, here's my Facebook thing. Live video is the first thing that it says, followed by photo or video. So the more video content you do, and it doesn't have to be you, not all of us are only children like me. You can turn the phone around and show your products or service. Hey, I just wanted to pop on and show everybody what we're working on today. Like you said, the day of the life of an engineer. How fantastic would that be if that was a video of you talking through that, or walking through, you know, the office, or what that is. So video has to be part of your strategy. More people watch video, more people retain video than they do images. And no more bright backgrounds with just text. Always include an image, and try to always do more video content. And we have a question in there.
Jessica's wondering about the risk-averse engineers. How can I do stories and video? Is it just telling them to get over it?
We got to get Jessica through a little therapy session at the end of it here. Yeah. You get them to tell the story that they're working on, and then you talk about it through pictures of the project without showing. I have a brand new, not a brand new son, a son who is a brand new engineer. So, and I'm just fascinating. He's just put him on a plane an hour ago to Memphis to do dredging of the Mississippi River. So I just said, please send pictures, not of him really, but just the whole process and everything that's happening with that. So you get the story from them and then you tell it. They're engineers. You're the marketer. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, great question.
There's another one here. I'm going to throw that out. Can you explain the difference between social media marketing and content marketing?
Well, it's just you're creating content. You're creating a piece of content, like she's telling the day in the life of an engineer on this particular project. And then that content gets posted as a Facebook post, as an Instagram story, as a blog, as a little blurb on your website. So it's just, you're creating that piece of content and then you're putting it through into all your channels. So you're not having to spend all of that time creating one Facebook post and then figuring out a video for your Instagram. And then what are you going to put on LinkedIn? And what are you going to put on your website? So you're just creating that one piece of content and then disseminating that through all of your different platforms. And then the video, I just have half of marketers say that it has the best ROI. 90% of consumers say that product videos help them make their purchase. If you sell any sort of product, you better have a video for that product. Half companies use it to grow revenue. 70% of marketers are seeing results. Landing page videos increase conversion rates. So we all see that if we've got like a beautiful hotel or something, we get that little video so we can picture ourselves there. Yes. So 2 minutes left. We have so much more to talk. Let's ask some more questions and get those 2 minutes in. If you need help with topic ideas, I am Molly at mollysolberg.com, and I will help you talk through some topic ideas. So we just covered a lot. Yeah. So are there any more questions that I missed besides Jessica's therapy session that we're going to be having after this?
You're welcome to pop on video and audio if you want to ask questions. Otherwise, you can pop it in the chat. Either one works great.
This is just kind of a one-off thing that I've wondered about. Sometimes after like a long weekend, I'll, think it'd be kind of fun to post like the screen grab from Office Space, like, someone's got a case of the Mondays or something. But I've wondered if there's any copyright legalities when, like, if you're using a meme or a meme template or a screen grab from a popular movie or TV show, is that something that can come back and bite you later?
I don't, you're only doing a screen grab from it, which is only going to increase people wanting to watch. When I hired someone at Duluth Tech, I required them to watch Office Space. So good job on that one, Tammy. You're just creating a screen grab. You're not benefiting from that. You're not profiting off of it. I mean, we have had issues where people have gone out and take pictures of their products, our product off of the internet and then use those in social media posts. That's a big no-no. You always have to give somebody photo credit for that. But, meme away.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions popping up?
It looks like there's one in the chat.
Do you recommend changing captions even a little when posting the same picture across all of your platforms? That's a great question too.
No, I don't recommend changing the caption. I would recommend hashtags. So I would recommend hashtagging on Instagram. And then if you have the opportunity to remove the hashtags for Facebook, hashtags on Facebook have lower engagement. Hashtags on Instagram have higher engagement. But if you have limited time, I'm not going to split hairs over it. We're used to seeing hashtags now on Facebook, but it's just like, they belong on, unless you have one, if the Duluth Chamber is hashtag Duluth Chamber and they have that on every post, fine. But if you're going to put those extra, and then there's some discussion about on Instagram, should I put my 15 hashtags in the comment below it? Because that was supposed to be better than putting it on the post itself. Splitting hairs, you can give each one a try, but no, let's not make it hard on ourselves. If you got 5 minutes to post something, post it on the same thing on all platforms. Yep, we got to get on with our day. Oh, time is up. Let's just keep going. I'm sorry, everybody. It's lunch. They're hungry.
Well, Molly, thank you so much for this fantastic presentation. If you have more questions, maybe I can hang out for another minute or two. Otherwise, if you need to move on with your day, please have a great afternoon. And thank you so much for being here. This session was recorded, so I will go ahead and put this on our YouTube and then send out the link later. So you're welcome to watch again if you need a refresher, or send it to a colleague if you'd like them to watch, maybe some engineers, right? So thank you again. Have a wonderful afternoon. And Molly, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Are you sticking around? I can stick around for a little bit too, but
Yeah, I'll stick around for a minute. Sure.
if anybody has any questions, they can just pop on. But thank you, everybody. Oh.